They're using the help of 2 scorpions, giant scorpions that they found inside the temple that they've been nice to and fed cheese. And they are attempting to break those crystals off. Only problem is some of the fire elementals that they're running from, a scouting group, came ahead and has followed them into the temple, thanking them for leading them to this crystal, seemingly important in some way. So, with all of that said, we're going to pick up today pretty quickly. Before we do, anyone have any announcements or anything they want to make? Or anything exciting that they've got coming up? Any wins in real life they want to make or they want to say? Otherwise, we'll get rolling. I got no new announcements.
No, not me.
Nobody else?
I got nothing. No.
Nothing.
All right. No worries. No worries. We got a group of really awesome artists here, brought together by Dex Dreamer, who reached out to me on Twitter to start this campaign. So, we're excited to play, and we're going to get rolling today with picking back up where combat left off. Let me bring up my notepad. Okay, I need to fix that. Add window capture. See here.
Am I back?
What'd you say?
Oh no.
My internet just kind of messed up.
Yep, you're back. Looks great. All right.
Oh. Oh god. Oh no.
All right.
Oh god. Oh, the thing you're setting in. Oh no.
Oh no.
As we pick back up, Ark, you are on top of the crystal. Make sure everyone's got roll 20 open. Looks like everyone's here in roll 20, so you can see the map. You're on top of the crystal. You've flown up there last session, and you are currently facing down a group of 3 large fire elementals, which are seen here in front of you, kind of floating above this really fresh and clear looking water. And then there is a fire remnant that has floated its way up and is kind of facing you down at the top of the crystal. There's 2 more fire remnants kind of floating around the edges of the map, kind of trying to cut off any of your forward exits. Luxima, you've got the crane with you. The crane is currently perched behind your horn, trying to hide from the fire elementals. And then Light, you're back here on the corner, shooting out Eldritch Blasts currently. And Chai, you are kind of on the very far back ledge, getting a good look over at the battle that's going on. The 2 scorpions are currently wailing away at the crystal. It's going to take a while, though. So, you need to protect them while the fire elementals are coming in. Ark, you're up.
Okay. I want to fly over here.
All right.
On the way, I want to wet my daggers in the water.
Okay. Sure. I like that. So you can move your character wherever you'd like. There you go. As you swoop down, you dip your daggers into the water, which now are kind of, the daggers are now kind of glowing with this, I mean, it's still water, but it's almost like it has glitter in it, as the daggers are kind of shining and sparkling now.
I want to move next to this guy,
Mm-hmm.
stab him, and throw my other dagger to this one over here.
All right.
Damn,
so
Dex. Let's
just
go.
it sounds cool. I will have to let you know about a rule in D&D. So if you try to make a ranged attack, like throwing a dagger or shooting an arrow, while an enemy is right next to you, you have what's called disadvantage on that attack. So you have to roll twice and take the lower number because there's a bad guy in your face while you're trying to like aim at somebody else. So if you want, you can throw the dagger first and then fly up and stab. And that way, if you do it in that order, you can avoid the disadvantage.
That would work.
All right. So go ahead and roll your first attack, the dagger throw.
The first roll of the day.
First roll of the day. So you'll click on the +5 next to the dagger. Ooh, 8's gonna miss. As you throw the dagger,
no.
the fire elemental kind of, as you throw the dagger, the fire elemental opens up its chest and the dagger goes through the chest and then it closes back up and the dagger kind of lands in the water and starts sinking down to the bottom of the pool. Now you fly up to the other one and make your second dagger attack. This one's gonna hit. This time as you bring the dagger down, the fire elemental almost smirks like, that's not gonna hurt. And then as the dagger heads down into the flames, which does kind of burn your hand a little bit, but as it comes down, you slice through the elemental. Go ahead and roll your damage. So click on the 1d4 damage next to it. See how much we get. Maximum damage, 7 damage.
Let's go.
As you bring the dagger
Let's
down,
go.
you slice through the elemental, leaving a huge gash in its flames as it like rips it apart. The fire elemental lets out this painful and they all of the fire elementals look down at the water that they're floating above and begin to realize the trap they've put themselves in.
Oh.
Ark, that was sweet. You are... That was your action and your bonus action, so that's going to bring us to the crane, who is going to... Luxima, you have a bonus to your next ability check or attack, so you're going to get a D4 bonus as the crane gives you a little inspiration.
Nice.
So it kind of flies in front of you and makes this like motion with its wings like it's making big muscles and then nods its head at you.
I put a thumbs up.
And it's your turn, Luxima.
Okay. So how is like a okay, first of all, I'm gonna ask like how big is a crack on the crystal? Like how much hit would it take to like topple it over? Kind of deal. Do I have to make a check on that?
Just at a glance, you'd have to make some kind of roll to try and really get a good number. Otherwise, if you're just looking at it, it's kind of hard to tell. It's a big crystal.
Okay, before I do that, I am going to activate my rage.
All right. So as you activate your rage, you kind of like pulse your muscles out, and this wave of energy kind of lifts up some of the dust around your feet and pushes it away from you as your rage activates.
Okay, so how deep is the water below?
Some parts are deeper than others. For example, over here behind the elementals is the most shallow part. The deepest part is right here. Is the deepest part right over here. It's as deep as it goes. Over here, this is probably 10 feet deep. The most shallow part is probably 5 or 6 feet deep. And then
So around it is shallow.
it's shallow is relative, because shallow is still up to your like neck for you. So
Oh.
it's like a little lake itself. Like it's not gonna be something you can stand up in and then do stuff. Like swimming around in it is not gonna, you're not gonna be able to stand up in it, unfortunately.
Okay, let's see what I can do here, because they're standing like a few feet above water,
Mm-hmm.
and I am like above the crystal.
You're behind the crystal currently.
Yeah, I am behind the crystal. So hold on. Rage. Turn to side of reckless. Danger sense. Like you start raging. Turn. Hold on. I'm just gonna look at my description first.
Mm-hmm. You want me to come back to
Okay,
you?
so yeah, maybe so.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue to hit the crystal, I guess,
All right.
because I
Go ahead and roll on the axe attack, which is the one that's +4. Click on the +4.
7.
All right. Bringing the axe into the crystal, it does make contact, and a small little tiny little thing chips off of it, but it doesn't make enough contact for you to be able to roll damage on the crystal. Just it hits, you know, it's a big crystal. You're not gonna miss it, but it's so armored up. It's hard to break.
Well, it's worth a try.
Yeah. So that's your bonus action and your action. Did you want to move at all?
Can I just tell the crane to like go to Javi?
The crane nods its head.
Okay, so I told the crane like to go to Javi, and then I guess like I jump down into
There's some
Oh.
spots you can stand. If you want to climb the crystal, you can stand
Yeah.
on some of these spots over here.
I was thinking like more of this spot right
Right
here.
here in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I moved there.
You can get there. Yeah, you can get there. You would just climb around the edge near where the scorpion is, kind of over here, and you would make it there.
Is it enough to get to the small fire minion?
The remnant up here? No,
Yeah.
that's probably 5 or 6 feet above your head right now.
Ah, okay. Oh, then I'll move to here then.
Okay,
Because,
that's going to be a harder climb. I'll need you to roll me an athletics check to climb up that big part of the crystal there.
Finally, we're using my athletic check. I got +2. Let's go. Let's do this. 15. 17.
And you actually get
Nice.
advantage on athletics checks while you're raging, so you can actually roll twice and take the higher number here. So roll again.
Ooh. Okay, I got
So
got
the
a 7. So like, yeah, 17.
So we take the 17. As you like kind of grab the crystal and begin shimmying your way up it, your just the pure adrenaline of the fight, your fingers are able to kind of like grip the smooth sides of the crystal and pull yourself up it. Your hooves are like, you kind of like kick them into the sides of the crystal to give yourself little footsteps, and you climb your way up to the top of the crystal.
Nice.
All right, so now you are the fire remnant is probably like 2 feet above where you're at now, and it's a little far away from you. It's about 5, 10, 15 feet away from you, but you're looking it down, so you can kind of like look up just a bit.
I'm looking at it down. Oh, I'm looking up at it.
You're looking up at it just a little bit, not much. If you can kind of look
And
at the picture of the crystal, like if you can kind of see it, like this is obviously the tallest part here. You're on probably the third tallest part of it, which is where Ark was before. And then this is on the second tallest part. So this one is it's a little bit above you.
Can I make another movement to like here?
You would not be able to this turn.
Okay, so
Because climbing takes double movement. So getting from where you were to there would probably take you your full movement for this turn.
I see. But can I attack though?
You already did your one attack on the crystal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the crystal. Okay. Okay, that ends my turn, I guess.
Alrighty. The fire elemental next to Ark is going to make a swipe at you, Ark, with its fiery arm. It's going to roll an 18 to hit, which I do believe beats your armor class. What's your armor class, Ark? The little shield icon on your sheet.
It's 14.
14, okay. So that one's going to hit. It's going to be 5 points of fire damage as its arm swings across and hits you. It's going to roll another attack here. That time's going to miss with a 7. So the second arm comes by and you kind of fly yourself out of the way and kind of dodge backwards, and the fire elemental misses that attack. This one here is going to shoot a flame burst at Luxima on the crystal.
Oh.
That one is... Oh, I don't have to roll an attack for that one. You actually have to roll a dodge. Roll me a dexterity saving throw, please. It's in the top left of your character sheet. Saving throw box. All right, 4. So, as the flame burst comes by and scorches you... Glad you didn't have the crane with you. That is going to be 7 points of fire damage as the flames engulf you. You can... that is not going to be halved by your rage, unfortunately.
No.
Total of 7 there. And then this last fire elemental is going to move. Well, they're all going to move. This one's going to move here. This one's going to move here, and this one's going to move here.
Ooh. Ooh, boy.
Nice.
The fire
You're getting
elemental...
closer.
Its eyes and its like skull-like face kind of slowly turn to its right as it looks over and sees the crane. And then it looks back at the fire remnants and says something in Ignis, which is that language that's kind of like abyssal or kind of like the devil language. So Light, I think, is the only one that can do infernal.
Yeah.
So you hear it say like, again, it's broken up because Ignis is just similar to it, but not like exact. But you hear it say, "Get." Just the word "get" is the only thing you can make out. And it looks like the fire remnants are floating towards the crane. This one's going to float up to the top part of the crystal.
Wait, I tell the crane to like go to Hobby?
Yes, but it can't just move on its not on its turn. So it's got to wait till its turn.
Oh, the turn-based combat.
All right, Light, you are up.
Okay. When's the crane's turn?
Right before Luxima, so it's gonna go right after the scorpion, or right after Ark goes at the start of the round.
Oh shoot!
Okay, Light is going to make his way over towards the crane.
All right.
And he wants to use... Can you see around the crystal to this guy? Click. Do the clickies.
Click and hold.
Can't do the... Okay, thank you, this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He
What
wants
do you want to do?
Eldritch Blast, of course.
Yeah. Roll me an Eldritch Blast.
Where did we go again?
All right, 22 is definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Nine damage as you blast the elemental with your Eldritch Blast. The energy of it resonates throughout the flames, causing them to dissipate for a second, and then they kind of reappear. And the creature is taking some damage. Nice job. You roll some damage on this other one real quick. All right. That is your turn. What are you doing with the crane? As a bonus action, I'll let you do whatever you want.
He kind of wants to usher the crane, kind of the little cape that he's wearing. He kind of wants to usher it under the little cape he's wearing.
Okay, perfect. So you kind of cover it up with the cape.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to bring us to the fire remnants. The one right in front of you is going to roll a fire breath attack at you light, and that one is going to be a 12 to hit. What is your armor class?
13.
All right, so the flames disperse before they hit you, and the fire remnants, like, kind of shadowy looking smiles turn to frowns as it missed. This one is going to... This one here is the one who did the flame breath. This one up here on the top of the crystal. So this one's like very up on the top. That one is going to breathe down smoke onto Luxima. Luxima, make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Come on, I got a +4. I got a 13.
How much?
13. I got a 9 +4, 13.
13's gonna work. As the smoke
Yes.
kind of fills up your lungs, you start coughing, but you move it out of the way. You don't take any damage, and you are currently not blinded.
Ooh.
And
Good.
then this last remnant is going to... it's kind of stuck. It's going to flame the scorpions. So this one over here is going to flame its scorpion with the flame breath. And it does hit the scorpion, but not for much damage. So as the flames kind of hit the scorpion looks, kind of darts its beady eyes over towards the fire remnant and then back towards the crystal. Javi, you are up.
Let's go. I can move like 6 blocks, right?
So yeah, you're on a ledge right here. Can you fly? Can your character fly?
I think I can only fly when it has like when I do the
You have to activate
what's
like
it
this.
call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, radiant soul thing.
Okay. So if you want to activate that, you can get down quicker. Otherwise, you've got to use 3 of your squares to jump from here, from where you're at, to this square down here.
Oh.
Or you can go around the edge of the stairs here.
Okay, then I have to. Then I can only go over here then. Like, wait,
Click and hold if you want to
this
ping.
one? Oh, this. Okay, I can only go here then.
Yeah, you'd be able to get to about like either of these squares, this one or that one. Yep.
Then I'll just jump down here.
All right. And then what would you like to do from there?
I don't think I can reach any of the bad guys. Wait, what? Spells
Let's see.
60 foot. 60
Yeah,
foot.
Yeah, you're close enough to do if you wanted to do guiding bolt or toll the dead.
Which one can I hit? Can I hit this one?
You can hit any of them except for this fire remnant right here that's closest because it's hiding behind a crystal. You would still be able to attack it. It would
okay.
just be much harder, like because it's behind cover. But
Oh,
it
okay.
looks like every other creature is within your range.
Okay.
This
And I'll
one here
hit
is
this-
also behind cover, so maybe not this one that I'm pinging back here. This one maybe not, because you can
Okay.
hit it, but it's behind like crystal cover, so it's just gonna be harder to hit.
Okay. I'll hit this bad guy. I'll hit the big one.
All right.
I'll use Toll the Dead.
All right. Go ahead and do I roll or do you roll that one? Let me look.
I think I roll. Huh?
So some spells roll like you have to like aim them, and then some you have to I have to roll to try and save from them. Okay. So the way we can tell that. Check out. So you see Toll the Dead. It says 60 feet, and it says Wisdom 13.
Mm-hmm.
In the hit DC part, like that column there, it says Wisdom 13. That is what I
Yeah?
have to roll. I have to roll for my bad guy. I have to roll a Wisdom saving throw for my bad guy. And if they roll 13, or if they roll 12 or lower, then you get to do your damage on their Wisdom saving throw. So these elementals, not very wise. Let me roll for them. It got a 6 on the dice. So it is not going to save from your Toll the Dead. So now you roll your damage, 1d8. So let's see what you get.
I got a 2.
Okay, yeah, 2 damage is not that bad. And I think Toll the Dead has like a special thing where if they've taken damage, it does something. If the target is missing any of its hit points, it takes 1d12 instead. Is there an option for that on Toll the Dead there? Is there an option to switch it to 1d12?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, check
I
this
don't
out.
see it.
In the bottom left of your character sheet, you'll see a button that looks like a d20, like a 20-sided dice. It's like a big yellow button. Click that. And then
Okay, I see it.
click on the d12, which is the second button from the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then roll.
And I just roll?
Yep. So if you ever
Hey, you got a 9.
There you go. Nice. So if you ever told the dead
Yay.
someone that's taken some damage already, all you have to do is do that. Okay? That d12 that we just did. Because Toll the Dead deals extra damage when they are already missing health. Speaking of which, that elemental moved away from you, didn't it, Ark? Ark, you can roll an opportunity attack. So, Ark, roll me a dagger attack, would you? Because that elemental moved past you. I forgot that you were in melee with it. We gotta give you your attack, too.
19.
Yeah, oh yeah, 19's gonna hit for sure. Go ahead and roll damage.
Let's go.
7.
All right. Dang. So, Ark, as the fire elemental, like, kind of moves past you with confidence, you slash at it. It leaves a stripe of this kind of, like, almost bluish energy on its back that then dissipates back into the regular red flames. You know these daggers, now having been dipped in the water, are a bit more powerful. Javi, as you do Toll the Dead, you point towards the elemental, and this kind of glorious-looking, angelic-looking bell rings next to its head, and it kind of covers its ears and begins to kind of fizzle and sizzle and crackle and pop, and then it explodes as you kill the fire elemental.
Oh, yay!
Nice.
So combined damage
Let's
there.
go.
Nicely done. All right, that is going to bring us to the scorpions. Scorpions are both going to make their attacks on the crystals. One hits, one doesn't for the first round of attacks. So they bring their claws in. First attack hits the crystal, shaking and rocking it. Luxima, I need you to roll me a strength saving throw. Strength saving throw.
17,
Nice.
21.
So you're able to kind of like balance yourself and hold yourself in place on top of the crystal as the scorpions hit it. And then they're going to do their second round of attacks. Again, one miss, one hit. So this one scorpion's having a lot of trouble as it claws at it and hits it with its tail and nothing happens. But the other scorpion, it claws first, deals that damage that makes you kind of shake on the crystal, and then it takes its tail and hits the crystal, and this time I need you to roll me a strength save, this time with disadvantage. So roll twice, take the lower number, because the crystal is getting weaker.
Oh, 5. Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
That's low enough.
10, 14. Yeah, 5.
All right, so you are going to end up falling down into
Oh, no.
the crystal ravine here, kind of right next to the fire elemental. Move him for a second. All right, so you have an X on you because you're currently prone, which means you're like kind of like laying in the crystals on the ground, or not on the ground, but you know you're not standing up. You're laying down across the crystals right now. The scorpions don't even seem to have noticed. They're not that smart. And that's going to bring us to Ark. We're back at the top of the initiative.
Okay, I want to move behind his back
Yep.
and use insightful fighting.
Yes. All right, so it needs to roll a deception, and you roll your insight check. Its deception is 10. 8. Okay, so no luck on that one.
Okay, I'm just gonna stab it.
Yep. Go ahead and roll your dagger attack. That was a good try, though, on the insightful fighting. That was smart. All right, 22's definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll your damage. 7 again!
7.
Yo! All right. The daggers come down. You're able to look up Luxima. You look up and see the fire elemental looming over you. You're about to kind of go in for a strike on you. And you see Ark fly up behind it and bring his dagger down on top of the head of the fire elemental, who lets out a screech. And it is the crane's turn, who is going to remain in Light's area for a second, and then looking for an opportunity flies over to Javi. Javi, the crane lands on your head.
Okay.
All right. It's going to give you a bonus as well. So you're going to be able to add a D4 to your next saving throw or attack of your choice. So we'll do that up next time. It is your turn. And then we're going to go to Luxima. Luxima, you have to use half your movement to stand up. But not a problem. You can just stand up.
Yeah.
So you kind of stand up in the crystals. It is a little wonky. It's kind of like hard to get your footing, but you're able to stand there. Move the red X off.
I would like to make a storm aura. And how do you do this one? So you gain 10. You gain 10 feet aura effect, and you start your rage. Okay, so I already add my rage, and I get C. When activated, one creature of you choose in your aura takes lightning damage. Dex DC 12, half damage on success based on your level. Okay. And it's like a bonus action. So can I do that?
All right. So when this is effective action, you can choose the target must take the target is D6 or half as much. The damage increases when you reach certain levels. Okay, so that's when you go into your rage, that effect is activated. So let me see. Let me just double check here. Your effect that activates when you enter your rage, and you can activate the effect again on each of your turns as a bonus action. So yeah, you can have them roll. They need to roll a dexterity saving throw, and then the DC is. Let's see here. This is not what I wanted. Storm aura. Okay, so it's 8 plus your proficiency plus your constitution. So the DC is 12 for them. So 12 dexterity. Let's see. 2. So go ahead and roll your D6 damage, which is if you go to the bottom left of your character sheet, that big red button in the bottom left. See that?
Yep, D6.
Yep, click on the D6 and roll that.
Roll once. 3.
All right, 3 damage as the aura fires off a lightning bolt at which creature? The one that's right in front of you?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
That's the only one you can hit anyway. All right, so that's your bonus action as the lightning sparks off of you. You kind of pull out. Are you pulling out your axe? You already had your axe out. Yeah.
Yeah, I already have my axe out.
So as you kind of hold the axe out, it glows this lightning-y color, and a spark flies off and kind of shocks the elemental in the chin, leaving a little burn mark, which is kind of funny, and then it disappears into the flames.
And then I will take my action. Can I make a mindful leap and then I swing it with my axe, or is that like doing
Sure.
2 moves?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so I do mindful leap at the creature, and I swing it with my great axe,
Okay.
and like it's already infused with the water because I was laying down.
Okay,
so it was
mirthful leap. Let's
really
see.
infused.
Whenever you make a long or high jump, you can roll a d8 and add the number rolled to the number of feet you cover, and even when making a standing jump. Yeah, okay, so, yep. So roll a d8 real quick. Same way you did before with that bottom left button.
1.
Yep, 1d8.
I got a 1.
Okay, so you can jump 1 extra feet, which we'll say you can jump from where you're at. Are you trying to leap onto the elemental?
I mean, I'm trying to at least getting square in the chest, I guess. If I can leap over it, I think that's a bonus.
Okay, if you leap over it, you're
But-
gonna land in the water. Is that okay?
I'm not gonna leap over it. I am just gonna like the axe jump high enough for the axe to hit it in the chest.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll your axe attack.
Yep.
23 is definitely gonna hit. Go ahead and roll the axe damage.
Ooh. 1. 3. Oh no, 3.
Bummer. All right, so 3 points of damage as you bring the axe around and hit the elemental. You kind of jump up and swing the axe, and it hits the elemental square in the chest. But the elemental doesn't seem too hurt by it. But it does deal damage.
Wait, didn't I get like a bonus like a damage because the axe is kind of infused with the water a little bit?
Have you infused it with the water?
Once I fall. I mean, like I did lay down, so it must have fallen into the water like a little bit.
Nope, it did not.
At
You
least
landed
I
on
would
crystals.
assume. Ah, shoot.
Yeah, you're not in the water yet.
Okay, I thought.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I did something though.
Yeah, you did. All right, now it is the fire elemental's turns. One of the big ones is already gone. So the one that is next to Ark and Luxima, I need both of you to make dexterity saving throws, please. It's going to do a nova around itself. So both of you dexterity saving throws for me. Got a 19 and a 13. Okay, so both of you are going to save. You're only going to take half damage from this, which is 10 halved to 5. So you both take 5 fire damage as the elemental kind of rears back and lets out a flame blast around it. The other elemental, the other big one, is going to shoot a blast at Light. Light, roll me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Someone better heal me soon because
19.
I'm at 11.
You're able to dodge out of the way of the blast, Light. And the fire pillar kind of goes by you. And then that's going to bring us to your turn, Light. This elemental is going to stay where it's at, but this one's going to move here.
I'm gonna, of course, do Eldritch Blast yet again because
You're gonna Eldritch Blast again?
I'm a one-trick warlock.
All right.
Over
There
at
is
this
a
guy.
yeah, no, that'll work. Yeah.
I can't. This one. There you go.
All right, sounds good. All right, 19 is gonna do it. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Oh my god.
The low
Oh.
damage.
Aw.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
Everything is daijubu, as they say.
Daijobu indeed. All right. Not bad. You got your Eldritch Blast off. And then, do you have anything you want to do for a bonus action, or do you want to move at all? This fire remnant, by the way, is above you, so it's like on a crystal that's like 30 feet above you. So,
Light is going to move onto the stairs over here towards Hobby to help if anything happens.
all right, you are good on that. That's fine. And then we're gonna move to the fire remnants turns. This one is going to float above the scorpion and is going to breathe fire down onto the scorpion. This one is going to float over here. And it's going to go there. And then this one is going to float its way there. Okay, so first thing we need is a Constitution saving throw from Light and Javi. So both of you roll me a Constitution saving throw in the top left.
Okay. Constitution.
It should be in the... Oh, perfect. You got it. 1914. Both of you are fine.
Hey.
You breathe in the smoke, but it does not affect you. It just makes you cough a little bit.
Oh,
And then the scorpion is going to have fire breathed down on it. It takes 8 points of fire damage as the scorpion lets out a... The remnants are trying to stop these scorpions from breaking the crystal. Javi, you are up.
oh, let's go. I'm gonna use my Toll the Dead,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna use it on. Oh wait, this one. Wait. Oh,
Click and hold.
I'm clicking
There you
this
go.
one.
Nice. All right. Go ahead and roll. Hold on. Okay, yep. Roll your damage. I rolled my save and failed.
Wait, has it been hit before?
This one has not. None of the
Okay.
remnants have been hit yet. So this is a D8.
I got a
Alright.
6.
6 damage. Nice. You're able to ring your bell. This time, as you ring the bell, the resonance from it kind of surrounds the fire remnant, which then just kind of disappears into smoke as that remnant dies with 6 damage. The remnants are not very powerful.
I'm also gonna use my bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use Sanctuary and cast it on the crane.
All right. Sanctuary gives it an extra bonus to something.
It like
Let's see here.
any
Ward
until the spell ends, any creature who targets the warded creature with an attack or an harmful spell must first make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell.
Ooh, strong. That's really strong. Okay, cool. I like that.
Yee.
Let's go ahead and move. Do you want to move at all?
Nah, I'm gonna stay here.
All right. The scorpions are going to make their rounds of attacks on the crystal. Ooh, both hit this time. Okay. So both claws, boom, boom, pummel themselves into the large crystal, which is kind of beginning to wobble. It's making that like clanging, jingling sound as they're going to then bring their tails into it. 2 more hits. So they bring their tails into the crystal, which then begins to crack and give way. And now it's really kind of wobbling back and forth. The crystal pieces are kind of falling and splashing into the water a little bit. That's going to bring us to Ark. Ark, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt another insight for fighting.
All right. Go ahead and roll your insight check. Deception is a 2 for the enemy, so I don't think you're going to lose this one, but we'll see.
I got a 4.
All right. 4 is going to be fine. You beat it. So they roll a 2. So with that, you now have your sneak attack damage. Is my internet crashing? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I can't
we
hear
still hear you.
Yeah?
The music cuts off
Okay.
though.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh.
All right. So go ahead and roll your attack with your dagger if you'd like, and then if it hits, we'll get to roll sneak attack damage.
I got a 9.
9 to hit. A 9 is going to miss on the elemental, so you, unfortunately not going to get the damage on that one. As the 9, you swing the dagger, but the elemental kind of dodges out of the way. Its armor class a little higher than that. Anything else you want to do? That's your bonus action and your action. Did you want to move at all? You're kind of floating above and behind the elemental right now. If you move away from the like immediate squares around it, you know, like all of these squares around it, then you will take an opportunity attack from it. But you could reposition yourself to any of these squares that are like around it if you wanted.
So I already used my bonus action, right?
Mm-hmm. That was the insightful fighting, I think. Let me double check.
I'm just gonna stand right there.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, insightful fighting is a bonus action. Yep. All right. That's going to bring us to the crane, who is going to gonna give a bonus to light. So light, on your next turn, you have a little bonus, a D4, an extra D4 you can add to an attack or a saving throw. As the crane kind of flutters over to you, Light, and gives you a little inspiration by landing on your head and kind of pecking your head, and then flies back over to Javi. And that's going to bring us to Luxima. Luxima, elemental in front of you, crystal behind you, ready to fall over.
Oh. I'm ready to fall over.
This
How?
this big one over here, it would still cost you most of your movement to try and get over this. But you could knock the crystal over into the water if you pulled on it. Or you could knock it backwards and have it land on the stone back here. But it's this big crystal, you know, that I'm pinging right here. Like the big part of it is ready to tip over in a direction, or one direction or the other.
Well, I'm not gonna pull it under the water because we need that crystal, and we just dumb to like just put it in the hole. So I guess if I move and topple the crystal over to this boy right here, will it give them to like an opportunity attack? Right?
It will if you move to push it in that direction. Yeah. Yep. This thing will get an opportunity attack on you. You can take a look at your own health and decide whether or not you feel comfortable taking a single hit from one of them or not.
I mean, how much damage did they do?
I can't tell you that.
Shoot. Because I am in a pickle right now. My max is like 32, and I have like 11 HP left. So
And I
this
have
could
7.
this could make or break my Luxima right here. He's on the tip of his grave right now.
It's a tough decision. Or you can just go for a swing on the elemental and stay where you're at.
I guess I'll take a swing, I guess, at the elemental, because
Okay.
if I get an opportunity attack, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna. Can I do the sea again?
Yep, you can. So I need to roll a dexterity saving throw. I rolled a 3, so go ahead and roll your damage.
Was it
a D6, I think? Yeah.
D6, yeah. 5.
Nice.
Get him.
As the lightning sparks off of you and sparks into the elemental, that's a nice 5 damage there. And you want to take an attack?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same bits that I do. Take a mindful leap and then swing my axe into his chest.
All right. Go ahead and roll your great axe. We'll roll your d8, I guess, and see how far we can jump this turn. I think the higher the number on your d8 here, the better.
I got a 6.
Yeah, not bad. Okay. You could probably jump all the way up to where its head is and do an axe attack.
Oh, let's do that. That's much cooler.
All right.
Yeah, I jump at like above his head and just swing at it.
All right. Go ahead and roll your great axe attack.
Is it a hit? Okay. 8. 12.
12 is going to hit as you
Yes!
jump up and bring the axe down on the fire elemental's head. Go ahead and roll damage.
Is it 3?
Unfortunate.
Wow.
But that's actually still enough to kill this fire elemental as you bring the great axe down and slice through it, ripping it into two pieces.
Let's go!
It disappears into smoke.
Woo!
Nicely done.
Just thumbs up.
Yeah, you and Ark are both like singed. Your clothes are got like little embers coming off of them from the
You just
Nova from last turn.
have a coughing fit for a while. My poor lad. My poor boy. He's like at 11 HP.
All right.
Max 32, by the way.
The fire elemental back here is going to take its turn. It's going to point both of its hands out in two different directions. One towards Javi and one towards this scorpion here. So, Javi, I need you to roll me a dexterity saving throw, and the scorpion's going to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw.
Yep.
Oh, I got a 14.
Okay, 14 is just enough to save from this, just enough. So, you're only going to take half damage from this one, which is good for you. That is going to be 7 halved to 3. You're going to take 3 damage, 3 fire damage, and the scorpion is going to take the full 7 fire damage as it lets out a... And...
Oh no.
Light, you're up. There's a remnant in front of you. Eldritch blasting is going to be hard when there's a creature in melee with you.
I was not planning on doing that, so don't worry.
I was thinking like if you Eldritch blast it in the face.
Are the remnants just smoke or are they like fire?
What?
What are the remnants made of? Are they like smoke
They're
or
still
like
fire. They're still made of fire.
Okay. So I'm
They
definitely
look
not
like
gonna do the one
globules,
thing.
though. They look like fire, like little fireballs. Like a globule of 3 of them together.
Well, I asked because I couldn't decide if I wanted to do a melee, like a claws melee attack, or use my hand axe.
Up to you.
So I'm gonna use my hand axe.
Okay.
And just kind of, I don't know, just try and hit it.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll the to hit for your hand axe. 18's definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Nice. 7 damage as you bring the hand axe across. It slices through the elemental, or the remnant, and poof, into smoke.
Yes.
Nicely done. That is your action for your turn. You still have a bonus action and movement.
Gonna chill right here. Okay.
All right. Then that is going to bring us to the last remnant here, who is going to listen to the orders it was given, and it's going to float over here to Javi. But as it does, the scorpion gets an opportunity attack on it. So, the scorpion's going to swipe its tail backwards at the remnant who's floating away from it. Hits for 12 points of damage. So as the remnant, you watch these 3 globules of fire. They almost grow arms as they're reaching out towards you, Javi. Their creepy faces are like floating in your direction as you hear these weird like as they're like reaching out towards you and towards the crane. But as they inch closer, you see this large scorpion tail swipe through them and poof, turn them into nothing.
Thank you.
And the scorpion kind of looks back at you, and if a scorpion could give a thumbs up, it would.
We're gonna have a pet scorpion after this.
Please.
That's going to bring us to Javi. Your turn. There's one fire elemental left.
Okay. I'm gonna move over here. Wait. I'm gonna move over here.
All right.
And then wait, can I is the crystal blocking me or can I hit
Nope,
it?
the crystal is not blocking you. Just the perspective. Think of the perspective. It's sticking up towards the camera view of the map right now. That's all.
Okay.
So there's nothing blocking either.
Wait, because my attack is only it's 60 feet. I could hit it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, then I'll cast Toll of the Dead again. Toll the Dead.
You got it. Go ahead and roll the d12. This one's taking a little damage.
Let's go. Oh, I only got a 5.
All right, I got to roll for them anyway. He failed anyway. So, 5 damage. All right, not bad. And then that's your action for your turn and your movement. Do you have anything else you want to do? I think you're still concentrating on Sanctuary as well. So since that's a concentration spell, you can't really.
Wait, I don't think Sanctuary is not a concentration. Wait, is it?
It's not. I could be maybe I'm crazy.
It doesn't have the thing.
Oh. You're right.
But
You ward a creature against range against attack until the spell ends. It's not concentration.
But yeah, but I don't have any I don't have other.
Oh, I see why
bonus
it's not
actions.
concentration. Because if the creature makes an attack or casts a spell that affects an enemy or deals damage, the spell ends. I got it.
Oh.
Okay, so that's why it's not a concentration, because it's got a big caveat to it. All right.
Okay,
So you have a
then-
bonus action you want to do?
Nah. That's it.
Alrighty. Scorpions are going to go then. One is going to look back and see the fire elemental. It takes its claws and grabs onto the crystal and then kind of tilts it in the direction. It's going to make an attack on the crystal, trying to push it in the direction of the fire elemental. It does succeed as it takes its claw and slams it into the crystal. The crystal falls backwards. The fire elemental is going to roll a saving throw here to try and dodge it. Fails. So, as the crystal
go.
falls down
Let's go.
Let's go.
on top of the elemental, the creature just turns into nothing but dust and embers.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Nice. This nice.
And
Let's
that
go. Easy
is
claps. Easy claps, boys.
combat. So, you find yourselves together once more. The crystals underneath your feet, though, Luxima, are kind of giving way. Roll me a dexterity saving throw real quick.
Oh, oh shoot. 1, 3
Aw.
All right,
of
so
all times.
so as the crystal kind of falls over and smashes the elemental, you're like, yeah! And then as you say that, the crystals underneath your feet start giving way, and you fall into the water.
Again, Luxuma has the most bad luck ever. He falls down in the first session. He falls out on the second
Oh my
session,
God.
and now this.
It's
3
okay.
is
Laugh.
sensitive.
Point and laugh.
Point and laugh. Point and laugh.
He kind of do swim up and kind of pop his head, kind of did that mouth fountain shoo out of his mouth, kind of thing, like a cartoon, shoo.
So
Um,
that's gonna bring us to the end of combat there, which means that you are all together once more in the temple. You're just kind of swimming around, Luxima. You make your way to the shore and climb your way onto it. The scorpions actually, one of them leans its claw down to help you out of the water. Got an eyelash in my eye. All right, you've got a
Oh,
bunch
no.
of chunks of the crystal laying around on the in the water and on the stone around you. What would you like to do?
Can I ask for a heal first?
I can heal. Wait.
Like,
If
Alexa holding his hand, like limping, is like, "Oh, can I have a heal?" Like holding his hand up. Can I have a heal?
We're on life support.
I'm
Oh,
literally on
no.
life support.
Maybe you
Wait,
should have stood on
my
the crystal
character
then.
sheet won't load. My character sheet won't load.
Oh no.
Oh no. Hobby,
Oh,
this is
No
depending
heals.
on you.
Heals are locked away.
Oh no. This is a nuzlocke. That damage done is permanent.
D&D
There's no
Nuzlocke
healing.
challenge.
There's no healing.
What kind of
In the
healing do you
Path of
have?
Crane.
Do you have, let's see here. Blast.
I could do
man.
like aid, but I can't see my character sheet right now.
Let's see. Aid.
Okay,
Both
whilst
is
we
your
wait,
allies.
character sheet loading,
Um,
Luxuma kind of like plops down and just sits as he like a wet mess that he is. He kind of looked like a wet puppy now that I think
Oh,
about it.
no.
He's so my boy, my poor boy.
The one you could
And
do is
I
Prayer of
just
Healing.
want to
If you'd
lay
like to
on
do
the
that, I can
ground.
just roll this stuff for you. If your thing's not loading. Prayer of Healing is 2d8 plus 3 to any number of 6 creatures. Did you want to do that, Chai?
Yeah, can you like,
Yeah, I got
my internet. Gosh.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Did it roll?
Yeah.
No, it rolled in roll 20 for some reason. Iggy. We got, let's see. All right, eight healing for both of you. Well, anyone that's missing health. Anyone that's missing any health, you heal up 8.
I
Including
got
the
a
scorpions.
19. Not
Let's go.
really. I mean, it's sizable, I guess. It's doable.
9 was it?
8 healing.
Okay.
I got a 19. My health is 19 now, out of 32.
I'm surprised.
I'm
Link didn't take
15
much
out of
damage.
21.
I was scared that like I got down to like 5. I'm surprised I've stayed at 11.
Light only lost 4 health.
Coward!
I
You
o-
didn't
I
I
go
only
for
very
lost
that
smart.
3
heal.
health.
Y'all just
I
stand
will
back.
point it away.
The backliners.
Me. Backliners. This
Look,
this
Eldritch
backliners.
Blast. Eldritch Blast, though.
So,
True.
the crystal shards around the crane actually flies down to one of the crystal shards and attempts to try and pick it up with its little paper feet, but can't.
How big is the shard?
I mean, all the shards are they're different sizes, but no matter what size it is, the crane's not going to be able to pick up any of them because it's a piece of paper.
Luxuma gets up and picks one of the crystals that the crane's trying to lift. So as if like the crane, as the crane trying to lift it, Luxuma just lifted.
All right. So
Just-
you lift it with the crane, who kind of gives you like a, like tilted head, kind of annoyed look, and it kind of flies off of the crystal and is looking at you holding it, kind of comparing the size of your hand to the size of the crystal, trying to see if it's the right size. And the crane kind of shakes its head no, and then flies over to a bigger crystal and lands on it.
Luxuma follows.
Okay. You do this a few more times as the crane flies to a crystal. It's too small, so it flies to a different one. This one's too big, flies to another one. This one's too small. You do this like 4 or 5 more times before finally the crane flies to one that's about as big as like a smaller loaf of bread. So it's not huge, but it's not something that you'd want to carry with just one hand, kind of thing. It's kind of like it's a heavier piece of the crystal, and the crane's like, that seems right.
Yeah, Luxuma kind of picks up the bread-sized crystal and looks at it and kind of like is very concerned for some reason, because this size of a crystal, while still big, he feels like it's not enough. So he looks at the crane and is like, "Are you sure this is enough? Can we just get a bigger piece and just like get the scorpion to like roll it for us if they want to?"
The
Nudge, nudge,
crane,
wink, wink.
the crane kind of like shakes its head no, and it points to the crystal and then kind of forms itself into a thumbs up. The crystal that you're holding.
If you say so. How can I question a folded piece of paper? I guess.
Should we grab a
then
couple extra pieces?
I mean,
you
grab a couple
can.
pieces to
I mean,
sell.
Yeah, if you
We
want to
could
grab,
sell.
you know, like
Let's
some
just-
pieces to put in your pockets or whatever. Like there's some hand-sized, jewelry-sized pieces.
Light wants to stuff his
Let's
pockets
go.
with
Let's make
tiny
some
crystals.
money. Let's make some money.
All
Wait,
right.
do any of us have like a bottle so we can like store the magical glitter water that's
I mean, we
below
all
us?
should have like backpacks, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Hold
Yeah.
on.
For our
Inventory.
Yeah, we'll say each
Let's-
of you has a
let's
few
look at-
bottles.
So,
Oh,
Like-
let's see.
Light does want to suggest we should probably grab a couple crystals of the same size that the crane approved of, just in case something happens.
Each
Well,
one
they're,
of.
they're pretty
I guess.
heavy, which means you're probably not going to want to bog yourself down too much with them.
I mean, like grab
Maybe-
like
maybe
the
an
little
extra
pieces.
one.
I guess.
We could each carry one. As Light stuffs his pockets with tiny crystals.
Even like Luxima, the one you're carrying, like the piece of the crystal that you're carrying that the crane wanted you to bring, is like it's almost as heavy as your axe. Like it's very heavy.
Hmm.
You're suddenly like very happy that the crystal did not fall on you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to attempt to taste the water.
Yeah. You taste the water. It's very
Oh.
like clean tasting. It's like very purified. There is a slight tinge of like cold on your tongue, like almost like a frosty kind of tinge that you feel. But yeah, it's actually pretty tasty.
Luxima made a mental timer to see how long Light will survive this drinking the water before, you know.
Just the one who drank it, not Light!
That was Ark. but yeah.
Ark, sorry, Ark, my bad. Luxima make a mental like stopwatch for like how long Ark would survive this.
Yes, of course. The stopwatch, the very technologically advanced stopwatch.
In his head.
Right.
I want to look at the others and say, "This is some good stuff. Come, taste it."
Why are you
Nah, we're
drinking
good.
random things?
I mean, it works for him so far.
Nobody's taking up
Uh,
Ark on the offer, huh?
No.
Absolutely not.
All right.
No.
So
Can I attempt a deception check on it?
I think they all can.
Before you drink it.
I think they can all tell that you're telling the truth, actually, right? Like it actually is pretty good, but they don't want to. I don't think it's gonna work.
Okay.
So.
I mean, I got 19 hit points, man. I can't risk it at this point. Like, if I were like at above 20, I would drink it. But
I
as
got
of right now,
15.
because you don't know fear. You don't know fear, Ark. You don't know
You
fear,
gotta
my
take
good fellow
risk
friend.
in your life.
True. I can fault you for that one.
Light wants to see if at least one of the scorpions will come with them.
Oh, let's go.
So, what do you say? What do you do?
Oh shit. Light first wants to be like, kind of like give the scorpions a like awkward thumbs up, like, you guys okay? You need anything? You hungry?
The scorpions kind of just like tilt their bodies, like looking at you curiously. One of them kind of scuttles around in a circle and then lays down.
Quick, Ark. Give them
Aw.
more cheese. Keep them the cheese. Quick, Ark.
I want to give them some cheese.
Yeah.
All right. You
How much cheese do you have?
the
Infinite
one
pocket of
scorpion you've already
cheese.
fed cheese to, as it sees you flying over Ark, it immediately like puts its claw out for some cheese. Like it's getting used to it.
Aw.
Good boy. Good boy.
All right, you
Good.
put some cheese into the very tip of its claw as it brings it to its little creepy-looking mandible mouth. And
That's my boy.
Very, very cute.
Indeed.
As you're all
Very.
collecting crystals and talking with the scorpions, you hear a voice from kind of the back part of the temple, like across the little water area that you guys were fighting at, like on the other side of it where the elementals kind of slip through the cracks. You hear a voice kind of echoes throughout the chamber.
Hello?
Luxembourg,
Hello?
back.
Hello.
But no, like Luxembourg but it's actually a genuine cough. Like, it's not, he didn't even mean to like reply. He just coughed at the right time.
As you all look over, you see a person who is dressed in these blue kind of azure colored robes. He kind of looks like an older man, kind of slumped over a little bit, hunched over. He is holding this staff that's made of this like old looking petrified wood. At the tip of it is one of the crystals that you have packed up in your bags just recently from the crystal here. And he's kind of steps forward. He's like rubbing his eyes and he says, "What's all that racket? Who's over there?"
Oh.
And behind scorpions.
Did that motherfucker just sleep through all of that? Luxembourg at the floor. What? What is this?
I want to look at him at disgust because he's an elderly.
What? In disgust because he's elderly and no other reason?
Yeah.
Our continuous beef with an elderly. Ark would and will throw hands with an elderly.
Hey, you with the feathers. Stop looking at me like that. I see you over there.
I want to stare at him.
You're gonna scare me.
Luxuba kind of like I guess can he like hold the crystal like a potato sack in like between his like arms and then wave at its free arms like, hey, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
I mean,
You asked first.
I asked first.
I asked second.
Okay, that's not fair, old man. He points at him.
He holds up his little crystal staff as he's hunched over, and as he does, the water between you all, he creates this like kind of icy looking, crystal looking bridge that just it freezes the water basically in a straight line in front of him, and he walks across it towards you.
Okay, once the old man did that, Luxuba immediately looks at Ark and see his like a reaction, like what's the bodily function in this? Like after drinking the water, did something happen?
No.
Did something happen to Ark? Oh, he
No.
he's kind of
Ark's fine.
disappointed. He's
I
kind of
just want to
disappointed.
hiss at him.
Hiss. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. The echoes kind of stop as he gets closer. You really do have a sour-looking face, don't you? Says
You
he.
want to throw hands?
No throwing hands.
What does that mean, throwing hands?
No.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Is it possible to cast sleep on Ark to make him stop?
Yeah?
Luxuba put his like a free big hand into like Arx's face and like just push him to the side, hand still on his face, and say, "Hello, old man. So you first of all, you sleep through all of that?"
You can see his eyes are a little bloodshot from just like waking up, and he brings his hood down, this kind of blue covered robe hood, very bald on the top of his head, long white beard that kind of comes down in braids, still kind of hunched over. He's got very tanned skin, just been out in the sun probably a lot, lived out here in the desert probably for a long time. His robes have these the similar symbols that you saw on the outside of the temple. It seems like he of the people in this room right now probably belongs here most. As he says,
Wow.
I see you've taken care of my scorpions. They are quite docile for you. That's nice. What brings you here, and why have you broken my crystal?
I guess an introduction is acquired in this situation. I, Luxuma, points at himself. I am Luxuma, and he kind of he kind of like jiggles his hand, like hands that's still on Arx's face. This is Ark.
I want to
Okay.
lick his hand.
You want to what?
Lick Luxima's hand.
Luxuma perfectly like, oh, stop that.
A strange one.
He likes to throw what he call throw hands at the elderly. So you're
Right.
not the first one.
I have no hands to throw. I am sorry, young lad.
Not. Never mind.
I mean, literally.
And
the rest of you?
Light kind of looks at Abby. He's like, well, what's your name first?
My name is Axel.
Okay, well, I'm Light. Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you, Light. And you, little
Huh.
one.
Hello, I'm Abby.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Now, again I ask the question, what are you doing with my crystals? I don't have the energy to fight with you, but I must know if I need to defend my temple right now.
Taking it with us.
We need
what
it
reason?
for something important.
What reason do you need then?
Elementals.
What? I
Fire
literally
elementals.
couldn't hear you. Literally.
Fire elementals, old man! Get some hearing aids!
Oh. You said fire elementals. Is that what I was seeing? I thought that was a dream.
No.
oh my god,
Ah.
how senile is this man?
He kind of like puts his pinky finger in his ear and wiggles it around in a big chunk of earwax that
Oh.
comes out.
Light's gonna try not to throw up right now.
Oh, gross. Oh.
The old
Oh,
man
wait,
kinda
where's the
just
crane
wipes
right
on his
now?
robes.
The crane right now. Where is it? Where's the little guy?
Currently, it is hiding behind Javi's head.
Oh. Oh.
He kind of peeks around the side. The old man hasn't seemed to have noticed it. He's kind of like looking between you all. He picks up one of the crystals, and as he does, he kind of sets it in the open area above where the crystal was broken, and it just kind of hovers there. And he takes another piece of the crystal and kind of sets it there, and he starts kind of like slowly just setting the pieces of the crystal back together, as they're just kind of like float hanging there in space, like a puzzle. He's like putting together a puzzle almost.
Jenga.
He looks over once in a while at the piece that Luxima's holding. Are you sure I can't have that back? This crystal means a lot to me.
Well, it means a lot to us too, because life, like he kind of shakes the crystal. Life depending on this, children's, adults, and a lot of things. So we need this desperately, actually.
Yeah.
I'm tired of you playing these games with me. He kind of like holds his staff up and kind of like points it towards you all, and he says, "There's no way there are any fire elementals. You've just come in here to loot like everybody else."
We're not Lux.
Look at your
Lux,
scorpions.
look at-
They have burn marks.
Yeah, like look at me. I am the best. You think scorpions can do fire damage like this? He kind of points at himself, like up and down, like look at me.
The old man kind of
Because
raises
at
an
the-
eyebrow and he squints, and then he says, hold on. He takes one of the crystals and kind of holds it up in front of his eye, and he's looking through it like it's glasses. And he looks at you, looks at the burn marks on the scorpions. One of the scorpions kind of like nods with its body, and the old man kind of looks over at you, and then he just like drops the crystal, which just kind of shatters on the ground. And he just stands there like staring at you for a moment and takes a step backwards. Fire
We're not
elementals
lying.
here on this plane?
Yes, we're not lying. The rift has opened, and we need this crystal to close it. And because I don't know why, because like he kind of like gestured to like the crane to like come out, but I don't know if like the crane would come out, but he just gestured around Javi. He kind of like, I guess like make a come here kind of motion with his hand to the crane.
The crane kind of peeks its head around and then flutters over to you, and the old man kind of raises an eyebrow at it and looks at it as it flies over. Peculiar.
We are tasked by the monastery to protect and to follow this paper crane, and it lead us here. And we are hoping that the crystal is the key to finally close the portal that's been, I guess, plaguing us for like some time now.
Luxima, weren't we supposed to not tell people this?
I mean,
yeah.
Luxima kind of like has the
stop
realization that, like, oh shit, you're right. And then like he kind of looks at the old maid very quickly and please don't tell anybody that. We just desperately need this crystal. We fight so hard for this. And like he kind of like no. Kind of panic.
We're nice people.
We're nice people.
Axel
I mean,
kind of tilts his head at you, looking kind of up through his eyebrows at you, kind of curiously. I did not think that this would ever come to pass. I knew it was a bad idea for them to disband this temple. I told them many times that they should all stay. And now look at what happened. Where is the portal? You know?
We have no idea.
we have no idea.
No.
But this little fella does. He kind of like points to the plane. He kind of has an idea. They kind of have an idea.
I see. Well, that is... Of everything, that is probably the most sad thing I've heard in the last 100 years.
I mean, like the fate of the universe depending on something so fragile as the paper. So I can understand why.
Yes. Well, you're quite the ragtag group. How did you know to come here?
Again, he points at the crane.
Crane leads us.
I've never seen this thing before. It's very curious. Well, I don't think I can stop you from taking the crystals. Honestly,
I'm not sure I'm going to be around much longer anyway, so let me tell you a story. You seem like the last people who I'll see before I pass on from this life.
Oh.
Aw.
Time for a story?
It's time story
Just
time.
being honest, like,
Yeah,
love
I mean,
Mira,
like,
but fire elementals.
He raised an
What a-
eyebrow.
oh, I
If you
mean,
don't want to stick around for it, you don't have to.
we can like bring him with us, and he can tell us his story through the desert with the scorpion. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Like
Pet
road trip
scorpion.
story, and you can see a little bit of the land before you eventually pass on to the next plane of the existence.
Well, I have lots of knowledge about how to fail at the adventure that you're on. And from my
Wow.
own adventures and my own time serving. You all are young and powerful, and I can see that there is much hope in you. But I see naivety and
He looks over at Arch.
foolishness.
You get
I
I
want to just stare at him.
It's fine.
When I was a young lad, I was recruited into the Order to protect this plane from invading forces. The elemental planes of chaos are not planes to be trifled with.
He kind of like looks at you all and points his staff at you.
That portal is going to be heavily guarded. There's going to be many creatures standing in your way. Much more difficult than this little scuffle that you've had. I have not been completely honest with you. I saw the whole thing. And I
See?
knew that they were fire elementals. But there isn't much I can do. You all need to carry the mantle. You all must protect this plane. And if this little creature is what's going to help you, then so be it. Protect it with your lives, right? That is your job. But take it from old Axel. It's a losing battle. You all may die at the end of this adventure. This may be the end of the road for you. That's why so many of us left the Order. It's just me left. Does that not scare you?
He kind of like raises an eyebrow.
we were trained for this.
Were you trained to die?
I don't know if you can really train to die. You can,
What choice do we have?
You can be trained to accept it.
You
Okay.
are. You seem like gentle souls for the most part. You seem young and so full of life, so much ahead of you. But that thing,
He kind of points a crooked finger at it.
it could end up getting you killed. That crane. Are you prepared to die? Are you
It's-
prepared to sacrifice everything for this cause?
I mean, it's either us or it's like what
Whole world.
thousands of people.
Yes.
It's
Well,
4 to a million.
I'll tell you one thing. Destiny is not all it's cut out to be.
He kind of like pessimistically kind of turns around and begins walking over to one of his scorpions, who he pets on the head.
I was a young man once here. And our leader, his name was Leo. Leo, he was charismatic and he was able to make us all believe we were fighting for something. Then one day, he left us all behind, went on an adventure to try and stop an invading force, and he never came back. I was left in charge, and I couldn't cut it as their leader. The group began to fall apart. And this was many, many years ago. Some stayed to help me protect the crystal, but over the years it's just dwindled down to me. I am but an old man now. Even if I was younger, I'm not sure I could have beaten you all. You all seem pretty strong. But just know that crane, that thing, it could spell the end for you. You could.
He kind of like, you see like a tear kind of run down his face, and he like wipes it away.
You could just run like everyone else. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to sit here and you don't have to throw your lives away.
You've met a man who's been through a lot. He's been on a mission similar to you, but alone for many, many years. And he's gotten to the point where now he's not, he's never done anything of use. And lost everyone that he loved and everyone he cared about due to this like purpose that he's had, this fate that he's been, called to. And so he's pessimistic, and it seems like he's angry, but you can tell he's like trying to also like in a weird way, like kind of look out for you. Like he sees a little bit of himself in you and doesn't want you to,
Can Happy go hug Axel?
Sure. He's kind of facing away from you, wiping one of his tears as he's kind of petting his scorpion, and you kind of come up and hug him on the side, and he brings his arm and just kind of pats you on the head.
Come on. It is okay. I just want you to know.
I guess like
Go ahead.
Luxema kind of slowly kind of like goes to the man's side, and I guess never really reaching him that far, but what he listened to the man in Luxema's head, he was right. He is scared. He doesn't really want to throw away his life to a cause that he never really chose to do, but in the end, he's here, and the crane has chose him. So he remembers what has like his father said, that you got to play the cards what you've been dealt. People have random things, so what can you do about it? So Luxema kind of says all of this and said that you're right. We are scared. I am scared, but that doesn't mean we don't have to try. You're old, like you said, we are young, we are powerful. I don't want to die knowing that I didn't try.
The old man kind of looks back at you, and Axel, he nods, and he says,
Well, so be it. Do as you wish. I just hope that when this is all over, you're able to go back to your normal lives and enjoy being free of fate. Fate is mankind's biggest lie.
We will.
He looks over at Ark, and he says,
Keep that strangeness about you. It's unique.
I want to move over to him and hand him a block of cheese
Oh, God.
and just nod at him.
he takes an old wrinkled finger and grabs the piece of cheese and pops it in his mouth.
Not much dairy out here in the desert. It's been a long time.
He kind of toots a little bit.
Oh my God.
Doesn't sit well with me.
Oh my God.
He nods his head.
Thank you. That was kind. And you over there, you whoever you are, Light, yes, right? You said your name, right? Light?
Yeah. You know, if you're so sad, why don't you just go to a city and make a new life? I mean,
Get alive. Get alive. Oh my god.
Go make some new friends. Like,
I mean, we can be his new friend.
choose
Like,
your own-
like I said,
Yeah?
you choose your own fate. Choose your
Oh.
own destination, sir.
we can.
I'm not gonna be like these other ones.
I mean,
who
like,
are
like us.
being sappy over here.
Like someone like offer him like to like go like take the old man to like road trip. Like he said, like the old man's gonna die anyway, so at least like make his last moments a little enjoyable by a ragtag group of like youngins, you know?
He smirks a
Can't-
little bit. He walks over to the opening entrance to the temple that you guys came in, and the big kind of hole that was in the back of the temple. He walks over to it, and he kind of puts his hand out like he's expecting to like touch a wall, but there's nothing there. As he kind of like puts his hand through it, he says,
Well, now that the crystal's broken, I guess I could leave.
he looks
Yeah,
back
you
at the
can't.
By the way,
scorpions. What'd you say?
can you tell us more about the crystal? Like, have you asked?
Like you can teach us. You are part of the first group that tried to stop this. You can teach us
What is it you want to
Yeah.
know?
everything. Everything that you can.
He's got
Tell
kind of
us.
like the 100-yard stare, like he's reminiscing. He's kind of got a smirk on his face.
There were good times and there were bad times. The crystal, it's a powerful stone-like. It's a pillar of this plane of existence. It's like a touchstone. It's part of the world, more part of the world than anything else. And it's almost like it's like a little key. This crystal, it is used to lock and unlock travel between the planes of existence. These crystals have been found all across the plane, all across the planet. This specific one is used to travel to the elemental planes of chaos. Excuse me.
He picks up one of the crystal shards and he tosses it up in the air. And as he does, he points his staff at it. A little beam of light shoots at the staff, and the crystal kind of suspending in the air. The light hits the crystal and it shines out this almost like hologram. It creates give me 1 second. All right. So he shoots the like light up. It creates this hologram, and you see this like large kind of circular looking diagram almost. It's like an old kind of ancient looking drawing. It's got 6 different spots on it. One spot says air, one spot says fire, one spot says earth, water, and then one says positive and one says negative. So these are the elemental planes of existence. And he says,
This crystal allows you to, if you find the right spots, travel to these planes of existence. And
he kind of points at the elemental plane of fire.
says, it seems as though someone has found a way to open the portal to the elemental plane of fire. I've never known where this portal is. In fact, I've never been able to leave the temple and go on my own little adventure to try and find one before. But these portals, they hide themselves. They hide themselves as stone pillars or doorways. They hide themselves as sometimes trees or holes in the bottom of a lake. It's hard to find these entrances and exits, but it seems like you've got a head start. Where did you all come from, you said? With the crane. I know you're not
The
supposed to tell
monastery.
me.
I mean, it's already open, I guess, because of like Luxema big mouth. So, the monastery. He come from the monastery.
Monastery. What monastery?
What the fuck is?
The Azure Crane Monastery.
Yeah, I was a
Crane
Crane monastery.
Monastery.
Yes, that one.
That's to the north. That's the one that's on top of the mountain, right?
Yes,
Yes.
It was.
it was.
Did you... Oh, there's no way, right? Did you... I used to have a friend. He was part of this group with me. He left many years ago and was headed north. He always talked about starting his own monastery, and... Well, he said he was giving up on all of this. An old friend of mine, he's,
Similar to you, he looks over at Ark.
in a way, he's covered in feathers.
Rashmi.
An owl named Rashmi.
It's gonna be Rashmi.
He kind of like
Rashmi?
raises an eyebrow.
He's alive.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. Healthy, so
And he never gave up on this, did he?
He's the
Must
one
not
who
have.
come
He
out
does.
here.
he calls us out here, so he never did.
He sent you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Axel kind of like looks back and forth in disbelief, just kind of like at his own hands and like down at the ground, and it seems like he's like reminiscing and thinking.
That's amazing. I guess I haven't been as alone as I thought. I thought they'd all given up. But maybe something called him back, or maybe he never gave up at all. Huh.
He never did.
I wonder if he created this crane.
He kind of like looks at the crane back and forth a little bit, kind of inspecting it. He doesn't touch it or try and reach out for anything. He's just like inspecting it, looking at it. The crane kind of turns itself into a hand and waves at him. The old man Axel kind of like raises his hand and waves at it.
So peculiar.
So cute.
And then, as he says that, the crane kind of like begins to flutter over, and instinctively one of you reaches out to like grab it to not fly over, but the crane kind of like looks at you and nods its head and flies over to Axel. And Axel puts his hand out, the crane kind of lands in it and unfolds itself. You guys, this is the first time you've seen the crane unfold itself to just being a piece of paper. And Axel looks down at it. And the paper's blank. But slowly, this like text begins to form on it. And it says, Dear Axel, I have never given up on you. Please allow my students a piece of your crystal. We will see each other in the next life, my friend. Love, Rashmi.
You telling me we didn't have to like violently break it without permission? We could have just handed over the piece of paper.
Permission slip.
The crayons.
We could just hand him the permission slip. Ah.
And that's
But
where we're going to end it for today as the crane folds itself back up.
Oh my god.
No. Oh.
Hope
Do
you
we
guys
get
had
the
some fun.
rideable scorpion?
Like
Oh,
yelling,
that
are you
was-
kidding me?
That's the end cut. Like, are you kidding me? The end episode.
So next time we'll kind of resolve this whole temple situation, and we'll send you on your we'll be going on your next adventure, maybe with some scorpion friends. We'll see.
Please.
Let's go.
Let's get
Please,
scorpions.
please. Oh wait, do I like get like a healing because like
We're gonna give you
16
guys.
hit
You're gonna
points.
get a rest. You're gonna be able to rest,
Yes!
and we're also gonna level you guys up to level 4 as well.
Let's go.
Nice. Let's
Long
go.
rest or a short rest?
What'd you say?
What is this NPC's
Lo-
name again?
Long rest or a
What's the
short
NPC's
rest?
name
Long
again?
rest. You're gonna get a long rest.
Let's go.
What is this dude's name? What is his name? I
What is
forgot.
whose name?
Yeah,
Axel?
Axel. There you
Yeah.
go.
Axel.
All right, we are going to raid into my friend Mew. She is a VTuber. Her VTuber is like a clown dragon, but they're cute. So give Mew some love. We're going to raid into her, and we'll see you all next week for episode 4. Hope you all had fun with this episode. You'll see it on YouTube. This episode was brought to you by Kaizo Tom, my patron. Check out patreon.com/commanderrpg for extra content and all that good jazz. Also have a Discord and all kinds of other stuff for that. Yeah, anything anyone wants to say before we head out?
No. Have a great day.
Nope.
Have
No?
a great night.
How?
Have a
Yes.
great any time of the day.
All right.
Yeah.
Time zone.
Bye, everybody. Be safe. Be good. See you later. Thanks for coming out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.